Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So do you have dreams of playing Barbarian and smashing rogues with your Bardiche, one-hitting them as they fly through the air? So did I. And it is an exciting and exhilarating experience when it does happen. But it's not likely to happen in High Roller, and I'm about to show you why. However, if you have a bunch of money to waste, which I don't, and you want to go in there to see what it's like, go for it. But in this video I'm attempting to warn you, it's not a great time. And as I kind of rotate around here and see, I've got a lobby of pretty much rogues and warlocks. Essentially everything that counters the Barbarian or any slow-moving class, as they can kite and chip away your HP. I feel bad for that fighter as well. I really had my doubts about ever taking Barbarian into High Roller, and I see why very few players are doing it. And the Barbarian class itself feels like one of the most underplayed classes right now. So I'm wasting 100 gold to show you guys why it's probably best if you just avoid Goblin Cave's High Roller for the time being. I do know some rogue changes are on the way, so hopefully that helps. Barbarian is one of the only true melee-only classes in the game, and it struggles. And it struggles a lot. A lot more than I realized. I have been having a lot of fun on Barbarian, doing runs against parties in ruins. Now, when you put this in an environment like Goblin Cave's High Roller, it is not something I recommend. And at the end of this, I think we can all agree that probably one of the most frustrating experiences I've had. But things started off okay. We found a helmet that might actually be worth some money, which is kind of nice. Lately, any of my High Roller runs have been basically you just break even, or you might find a few items that push you over that 100 gold break even line. We accidentally aggro 2 death beetles, and as you'll learn, everything on Barbarian is more difficult. Juking side to side, swinging takes forever. Your mobility is just not great, and I'm using some of the lightest gear you can run. The only reason why I took light gear is because I want at least somewhat of a chance to catch people, and I thought maybe if I can get close and just land one swing. That's all we need, one swing. Just a little tip here, do not step on that pressure plate that's placed just before this chest. My very first game of High Roller Goblin Caves was this spawn, and I stepped on that plate and Skeleton Champion jumped on my head. Not a great time. So we have the Potion Chugger perk, something I'm still kind of messing around with. So I want to make sure I have lots of pots for when we do finally engage in combat. This area has been cleared out, so there's definitely a guy somewhere close by. And this is the kind of struggle with Barbarian. If I aggro any of those ranged mobs, it's going to be a real pain. There's no real easy way of dealing with them. Sure, you can maybe run Horseman's Axe and juke side to side. It's probably your only option right now. This whole Bardiche thing is not a great 1v1. It's not a great 1v1 weapon when you're fighting really mobile classes. And that's essentially all you're going to be doing in Goblin Caves. So we chill up here, we actually see a guy down below, looks like a rogue, and we're just hoping and praying that he ventures back this way, which is very unlikely, and we can just jump on his head. Probably never going to happen, and we do have to get moving, so we decide to try to get a bit more loot, find a decent potion, which would be very helpful. The blue protection pot, it's kind of nice, and some more axes. Merchant was actually sold out or didn't have throwing axes, and that's your only real way to close the gap on the Barbarian. You can't get close to players if they're still moving at full speed. We're going to get our HP back to full just because we can, and every little bit of HP is going to count. Still no movement down below, so we decide it's best just to get on with things and speed the process up here a little. If I'm going to have to fight a rogue, it's just going to have to happen, and there's no real delaying too much as the ring's starting to push me into the middle of this map. Thought I saw a ranger laying here, but it's just a goblin archer. And here's our first target. And of course, it's a rogue with a crossbow. It's going to be almost impossible to get close to this guy. But we'll make our best effort. He can pretty much double jump, kite, reload the crossbow. I'm guessing he probably has full agility on all his stuff, which means reloading that thing, shooting, getting it back out. Everything about him is way faster than us. The only way we can really win this is if we basically drink pots endlessly. And just maybe he'll make a mistake that lets us get a little close to him. Tempted to break this door just to distract him. I think we've gone around. Sounds like he's fighting a few mobs, but still no way for us to easily cut off any of his escape routes. There's just nothing. There's nothing I can do. I might as well at this point just ran. We might get a little lucky here and get a swing in. Unlucky, it hits the ceiling, and we eat another crossbow bolt to the face. And at this point, I was starting to see why Barbarian is just never getting played. This is probably one of the most non-fun things I've ever experienced in Dark and Darker. This is like a rogue playground. Elevation changes like 6 different times, multiple areas you can duck into and jump across, and then just spam you with the hand crossbow. We do get close here, and in our frustration we try to land a stab, but he pretty much just walks sideways, dodging the narrow point of that Bardiche. Sure, I might have had a chance, maybe Horseman's Axe, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. As a Barbarian, you'll run into numerous areas like this, where you just can't get close to the guy. And quite frankly, this guy probably barely even broke a sweat, spamming me with his hand crossbow. There's not a lot of counterplay, unless maybe I land a nice axe, but it essentially just comes down to getting lucky and praying that they make a huge mistake. Just kind of feels bad. And this situation left me really frustrated with the poor Barbarian class. So if you want to avoid this frustration, just don't play Goblin Caves High Roller right now. Stick to the normal dungeon, which is something I'll pretty much always enjoy about Dark and Darker, as it's a great spot for just a generic, you never know what's coming type of situation. Don't have to worry about there being a million sweaty squads. At least you may be able to find an organic experience where you don't feel like you had absolutely zero options to counterplay, or like I'm constantly trying to tell myself that like I could have maybe done something better in that situation. And I look at those situations, and the more I watch and see Rogue, most times there's literally nothing you can do if they play it right. The only way you win is if they make a huge mistake, like huge mistake, and truthfully he kind of did, letting me even get close enough to swing my Bardiche, and I still failed. So you have to play like exceptionally well at everything, and everything has to work perfectly. The throwing axe have to hit, you have to time your shouts at the right time so you can make up the distance, and chug pots like 20 times. Meanwhile, they can just bounce around and kite you the whole time. Warlock's not quite as bad, because at least Warlock, they don't have the movement speed and the crazy getaway potential. So after wasting my gold there, I decide why not go into Howling Crypts and see what I can do. And we do find a team, which could be a little bit of fun, as I'm just yearning for a Bardiche blow to the side of someone's face. And these guys may give us an opportunity to do that. I see arrows getting flung from one end to the other, and I'm not really sure who's on whose team here, as there's a rogue here as well. He acts like he wants to fight, so we're gonna square up with this rogue. If he's smart, he would not entertain this. Unfortunately, our protection buff's wearing off, and so is his protection pot, as we used it a little early, thinking we were gonna get rushed. And now we have I think a different team. Trying to take out this fighter first. Stab doesn't quite do it. Her cleave takes out the rogue, and then we're able to finish off the fighter. Unfortunately, this ranger and his spear just outreaches us, and like just barely outreaches us, putting us in a really bad spot. Hoping this connects and kills him. Just doesn't quite hit that head hitbox. And that's a situation where I thought maybe Life Siphon might work better, but I didn't use my Rage Shout again, which would have maybe given me that little extra step of movement speed to catch up to him. It's pretty much a bare naked ranger, like way faster than my Barbarian class. But at least in this situation, I felt like there's something I could do differently, and I probably could have won that fight. I very much had every right to win that with a blue Bardiche and a couple okay Barbarian items. Felt good, and it felt fun. However, if I'm going to give advice to all you guys, is just avoid High Roller Goblin Caves until we see some rogue changes. Hopefully very soon. Look, thank you guys all for watching this. This was a pretty frustrating evening, wasting a whole lot of my gold on my Barbarian class. Just experimenting with what works and what doesn't. So, Hopefully we get a little bit of love in the future, and our melee classes like Fighter and Barbarian aren't so niche, but we don't know. And if so, you may be seeing me play a little bit more Warlock. So cheers, thank you all, and I'll see you guys all next time.